And so, welcome to one of my favorite pieces of work, Finding the Golden Child. And if anybody wants to drop in the comments where they're from, it's always nice to see where people are visiting. I'm in Manhattan, and I find in personal growth work, we often focus on our suffering and on our pathology, which is really understandable because that's what brings most people to personal growth work. But it's really, really important to connect with resources for empowerment and to be able to connect with what's good about ourselves and unconditional love and compassion and kindness in the larger consciousness system and within our own authentic self. Hey Beth, welcome from Oregon. And so that's a piece of work that we're going to do today. And in the work that I do with clients and in my own personal growth work and in my mentorship program, it's nice to have a rotation or a balance, kind of like breathing in and breathing out. And so we need to breathe in healthy oxygen, and then we need to exhale those things that don't serve us anymore, like carbon dioxide and any pollutants or other things that our body expels through breathing. And I think personal growth work and healing is the same. And so just like in our digestion and, the body processes and natural processes are a really great metaphor for what happens to us spiritually. Hey, Sia's from Sweden. I didn't know that. Welcome from Sweden. What time is it? It's evening over there right now. It must be 9 o'clock at night. Would be my guess. And so this is a breathing out process. A breathing in process. Today we're going to be nourishing ourselves, connecting with an aspect of our own authentic self or soul self that holds what's best about us. Whether we're connected with that consciously or not, we're going to connect with that today. It holds our gifts, our talents, our dreams. It holds vital life energy that we may have become disconnected from. And for whatever reason, and maybe when I leave this body and pass the other side, I have quite a few questions for the management about why things are set up this way in the human plane and the earth dimension. But it seems like most people, at least the people that I work with, get disconnected from their authentic self, or what we're going to look at as the golden child today, somewhere between the age of like 3 and 8. Now, some get disconnected earlier and some get disconnected later. And there certainly are people who remain connected to their soul essence throughout life, though they aren't coming to therapy with me, those people. So I have to know that I have a bit of a skewed demographic, because I know for myself, and as a recovering person continuing to do my own work, I came with a lot of baggage and I'm still unpacking. So people that don't have those problems just don't seem to cross my path very much. But anyway, so most people, in my experience, get disconnected from their authentic self, either because of their own rejection of it or feeling like it won't be supported or appreciated, or because it actually gets squished or pushed out of them by the culture, by their family, by their religion, by their peers at some point early in childhood. And then so there becomes a gap of our authentic self that's usually filled in with what you might call like a mask self, or a people-pleasing self, or a personality self that focuses on kind of finding love and acceptance in the circumstances that we're in. And then often later in life, that kind of suffering of living inauthentically or living to please others or to try to have these more external goals or rules that we follow, that gap of suffering, which is where our authentic self should be, that usually draws us back to doing the work, which could be seen as the hero's journey of kind of going into the cave of our own self and working with the dragon of whatever has separated us from ourselves and retrieving the treasure of what we are actually meant to bring into the world. And so that's kind of my understanding of a human path on this plane of existence. And so this is one of the aspects of that hero's journey. Although I don't think we'll be fighting any dragons today, we're going to use body-centered mindfulness and some guided visualization and connect with the transpersonal realms through the spirit of nature, which I find to be the most easily accessible pathway, thanks for the hearts, to connect with higher consciousness for most people. And it's kind of like a back door into higher consciousness through nature. And so we're going to go to a clear and beautiful, empowered place in non-ordinary reality, or the metaphysical aspect of nature. And it may seem like a place that you've been before, or it may be someplace new. We're just going to be open and see what comes. And in that place, we're going to discover, connect, or reconnect with this aspect of our own authentic or soul level self, and interact with that part of ourself, see what it needs, see what they have to offer us, and look at that relationship and how we can foster and support and nourish this relationship with our own best, or this aspect of our own highest self in our lives today. And so I'm going to do that by asking a series of questions, and you can just see what comes up in yourself as answers to those questions. I do want to encourage you to trust your own experience first. So I'm just providing a container for this navigation to connect with this aspect of yourself. And if something else comes up, trust that first if it feels like the right thing. So I'm just kind of pointing in a direction, and if you feel moved to do something different, or different experiences or answers come up, please follow your own experience first and refer back to me if it feels helpful. And it's one of the aspects or expansions that happens as we do inner work, is to start to develop our own trust of our own more intuitive, body felt inner guidance over that of the guidance of other people. So although I have no intention of leading you astray, and nothing bad's going to happen in this, follow your own self first. And so I kind of like to just jump in and do the work, but I love to open it up if anybody has any questions or comments. I think the final thing I'll say is that this aspect of yourself may present in any way that is most helpful for you right now. It may appear as a child part of yourself. It may appear as an older part of yourself. We'll just be open again to whatever the form itself can be, kind of a teaching. And so we're just going to be open to however that presents itself today. So any questions or comments before we just jump into this really positive, empowering, reconnecting, healing piece of work in finding the golden child? Okay. If you have any questions or comments as we progress, feel free to place them in the comments. If for any reason you cannot see the comments, often these workshops are very interactive. So if you can't see the comments, what people find helpful is to drop out of Insight Timer and come back in, and the comments should come up. If you want to participate by putting your own process in the comments, that can be really helpful to the group and the other people that are here. But if it feels like it pulls you out of your inner work, take care of yourself first and don't do that. So I leave it up to you. I love it when people interact, but there's absolutely no pressure to do that, particularly if it disrupts your process. But I am here to help you, okay? Thanks, Angela. Excellent. SD being San Diego, maybe, I hope. You're welcome, Lisa, in advance. Okay, so again, I'm here for questions and comments as we go along. South Dakota, of course, the part of the country I am completely unfamiliar with and really look forward to being. I bet it's cold in South Dakota right now. We had a little snow last night in Manhattan. It was very nice, but it's sunny and in the upper 40s right now. All right, we'll put on a blanket, Angela, and let's go in. If you are in a place that's chilly, I would encourage you to get a blanket. Your body temperature might drop when we do inner work. It's not uncommon. You can feel free to sit or lie down. Welcome, Lynn. Lynn or Line. I hope we'll say it. We'll see. You can reconnect. You can correct me. From the Netherlands, one of my favorite places. Hope to return to Amsterdam again very soon. It's a lovely place. So feel free to sit or lie down and get settled. Grab a blanket. If you lie down, I'm going to encourage you to not use a pillow. It might give your body a cue to go to sleep. But do whatever feels comfortable for you. Again, your responsibility to care for yourself. And let's take a moment to just really come present into our bodies, into our space and place in present time. And you might start with your eyes open and just really notice your space. Maybe notice the quality of the light and the quality of the air. Notice your body on the chair, bed, couch, or floor. And just allowing yourself to be supported without any resistance. As we begin to take a journey inward to the transpersonal realms that have only our highest good in mind, to connect the aspect of our most authentic self as it wants to make itself known to us today, to add to our resources for energy, clarity, guidance, wisdom, joy, playfulness, creativity, power. The aspect that holds what's best about you. You may have an awareness of this part of yourself, or you might not. And so maybe just taking a couple long, slow in-breaths. If you feel comfortable to gently close your eyes, feel free to do that. And just notice any places of tightness or tension in your body. Perhaps just drawing the breath into any tightness or tension and release it on your out-breath. You might roll your shoulders, slacken your jaw, loosen your neck, flex your hands and feet. And just letting each breath bring you a little deeper into your inner world, knowing it's safe to do this. And if you're just joining, welcome. We are beginning our inner journey to connect with our own best self as it presents in the form of the golden child. And you might take a moment and give your conscious mind permission to take a well-deserved rest, knowing you'll be able to be curious and observe and remember what happens, but we'll think about it or make sense of it later. We're going to open our more non-rational ways of knowing and gathering information, opening our inner senses of sight and sound, taste, touch, smell, instinct, and intuition, just opening those all quite widely. And I wonder if you can sense or feel or imagine a path or a stairway that leads to a very safe, beautiful, powerful, and magical even place in nature, a sacred place where no one can come without your permission. The spiritual aspect of nature that has only your highest good in mind. And this may lead to a place you've been before, or it may lead to someplace new. We're just going to, again, be open and curious to see what presents itself. And you might notice if this stairway or path leads up, or if it leads down, and either is fine. And perhaps noticing what that path or stairway is made of. And it may present as a ladder or a chute or a slide or something else. We'll just go with whatever presents itself. Might be wood or metal, earth, stone. And perhaps you can sense, imagine, or feel traveling that path or stairway now. It leads to this safe and sacred space in nature where we'll connect with the golden child, the aspect of your best, most authentic self that wants to connect with you right now. And as you travel this path or stairway, we're looking for some kind of a transition. It may just be the end of the stairway or path. It might be a door, an archway, some kind of opening or membrane. Or the path may just gently, or stairway, just lead into this place in nature. And taking all the time you need, traveling to the transpersonal or metaphysical realms, the spirit of nature that has only our highest good in mind. Place of very high resonance and consciousness. And as you imagine, feel or sense yourself entering this special place, noticing what the environment or the ecosystem is. Some are drawn to a beach, a mountain, meadow, desert, forest. You might notice if it's day or night. What's the quality of the air and the quality of the light? Can you see anything, smell anything, hear anything in this place? There might be creatures here. The golden child might be waiting for you, or we might need to wait for them or travel to discover them. But just noticing how it feels in your body to be in this place. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do, but just to be fully present in this process right now. Connected with the spirit of nature. Noticing the elements that are present here. Earth, sky, air, light, wind, water, tree, rock. And we're here to connect with the aspect of your most authentic self that has maintained connection with the transpersonal realms. It knows their worth, value, and essence, and is aware of their connection with the larger consciousness system. May present as a child part of yourself, even a very young child, connected with the life force. And again, all the things that are good about you. This is an aspect of your soul self. Again, connected, plugged in, consciously supported by the life force. And I wonder if you can sense or imagine or feel where in this place or how you might connect with or discover this part of yourself right now. They might already be present, they might be approaching, or you might be aware of them in some area or aspect of this place. And there's no right or wrong, so feel free to explore and experiment, because this part of yourself wants to connect with you. And they may be playful or mischievous. They may be adventurous or deeply engaged with nature right now. And again, we'll just be open and curious to how the golden child, how this aspect of our highest, best, or most authentic self presents or makes itself known, or how we discover them. We might need to listen for them. We might need to sense or intuit where they would be. Or again, they may just present themselves before us right now. And it may or may not look like you. Just noticing, being curious, open. You might notice how old the golden child is. What's their character or personality like? What are they doing? How are they feeling? My golden child is a naked 4-year-old with matted hair with sticks and leaves and twigs in it, who runs laughing and yelling through the woods from tree to tree, playing hide and seek. Your golden child may be more perceptive or quiet. They may speak the language of insects or animals. They may be aware of feelings or nature. They might be creative playful, brave, intelligent, loving, kind, compassionate. They may be gifted with ritual or mechanical things. They may love numbers and structures and systems. Or they might like colors and sounds. They may connect with dance or music. There are many different kinds of intelligence. And we all have special intelligences. And the golden child is naturally connected with these. And so again, just noticing the form, the character, the personality, and what's good about the golden child. And what has your relationship been like with this part of yourself? Have you been aware of them or unaware of them? Have they been kept secret and safe? Have they been kept separate? Or have they expressed themselves regularly or occasionally in your life? And you might notice how you feel about the golden child. There's no right or wrong. This is an inner relationship with an aspect of yourself. And it's best if that's an honest relationship that has room to grow and evolve. And I wonder how the golden child feels about you. Do they think that you're wonderful? Do they think that you need to loosen up? Are they interested in spending more time with you? Is there anything that you would need to do or change in your life today to make room for the golden child to be loved, cared for, nourished, expressed, or loved in the way they've always needed? What does the golden child need? And what do they need from you? And what does the golden child offer to you? How would it be to connect with their life energy and add it to your own? there's anything that wants to be done or communicated between you and the golden child right now. Anything that you want to do or communicate with them, or that they want to do or communicate with you. And again, we're just going to be open and curious. And is there anything the golden child wants to show, do, communicate, or teach you about this place? Anything about connecting with nature? With the larger system as a source and a resource. Any gifts, skills, talents that they have that want to be shared or expressed that you may be unaware of. And again, knowing that this is a living, growing, healthy relationship with an aspect of your own best self. It can be returned to again and again. Just as in human relationships, healthy relationships are built on spending healthy time together. And you're aware of this aspect of yourself now. And they are a source and resource for you, should you choose to connect with them. And so I wonder if the golden child wants to stay in this place in nature, or do they want to come and be with you in your life today? And they may or may not be aware of your life today. And so you might take a moment and show them the life that you have created for yourself. Show them where you live, if you work or go to school, places you go, people in your life, things you enjoy doing, creatures that you spend time with. If you have hobbies or things that you enjoy. Take all the time you need to show them your life today. And what do they think about this life that you have created for yourself? And how is it to notice their perspective on your life? And again, we're going to ask the golden child, do they want to stay in this place in nature? Or do they want to come and be with you in your life today? to add to your own inner resources, your own life energy, to nourish and supplement what is good about you. Adding to your life force. And either is fine. There's a mystery to this work, and we can trust what comes. And if the golden child wants to stay connected to this place in nature, know that you have easy access to them and are more aware and conscious of them than ever before. And that it may be beneficial for you to connect on this plane with this aspect of yourself, connected with the larger life force in nature. And if they want to come back with you, I wonder if you can sense, imagine, or feel hugging them into your body. You might feel a filling sensation, or you might not, as you welcome this aspect of your own authentic self back home into your body, your mind, your emotions, and your energy system. Welcoming them back mentally and emotionally, spiritually, energetically, sexually, socially, relationally, professionally, creatively, familially. Breathing them in. Perhaps sensing, feeling, or imagining their energy flowing all the way down to the soles of your feet and out to the tips of your fingers and up to the crown of your head. Filling you, infusing you, integrating, nourishing, replenishing every layer, aspect, and level of your life. And taking all the time you need to receive and welcome back this aspect of your own best self, perhaps making you more whole than you have ever been before. And if the golden child has decided to stay in this place in nature, we might notice if there's anything they need to feel more comfortable here, anything they want to do or communicate with us about how to connect with them more easily, or anything that wants to be done or connected or communicated to be complete with this for right now. Again, knowing that this is a living, growing, healthy relationship, an aspect of your own highest self. And so take all the time you need, and when you're ready, perhaps saying thank you to this place, and returning along the path or stairway or whatever formation brought you to this place, bringing all of this back with you, remembering everything fully. Coming back into your body, mind, emotions, and energy system. connection back with you into ordinary reality in your life today. And when you're ready, you might open your eyes and stretch a bit. And as you come back into present time, I wonder if you can sense, feel, or imagine the energy of the golden child in the room with you right now. And where would they be in relation to you? They might be beside you, in front of you, behind you, above you, within you. And notice how it feels to have them here in this way. And how do they feel to be here? And I want you to notice how easily and naturally you made that connection, and that it is always available to you. Again, this is a living, growing relationship with an aspect of your own authentic self. And you can connect with this part of yourself, whether you're alone or with others, whether you're busy or at rest. By just bringing your awareness present and into your body and calling awareness to them in this way. And that concludes our guided imagery for today. And if anyone has any questions or comments or wants to share their experience, you can feel free to do that. If you feel like you benefited from that process, donations are very gratefully received. Insight Time is a very generous platform, and this community has been incredibly supportive. Oh, Sia, I'm so glad. I'm curious, Sia, what the form of the golden child was for you. If you want to share it, it's up to you. If anybody's interested, I do workshops almost weekly. You're very welcome, Lynn. Next week, on Saturday, February 11th, I'll be doing Transforming Trauma, very powerful combination of shamanic soul retrieval, Buddhist philosophy, and body-centered mindfulness. I give a talk on my perspective on trauma, and then we do a healing inner journey. It's a really profound piece of work. Thank you, Beth, for the generous donation. So if you want to join me for Transforming Trauma, that's Saturday, February 11th, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 p.m. GMT. That'd be 9 p.m. CET for Sia, right? And Wednesday, February 22nd, I'll be doing a workshop at that same time frame, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, 8 GMT, on healing anxiety. I'll do a brief talk again on my perspective on anxiety, and then we're going to do a couple pieces of work in healing and dissolving our fear and connecting with the part of ourselves that most needs to be brought into present time to be loved and cared for by our healthy adult self. So Sia shares that was her as a 6-year-old, swimming and frolicking in the ocean, following fish, searching for starfish. And she wants to stay there where she can be free. Beautiful. And Sia has access to her now and can make sure that she's never alone. Exactly. So Sia, I don't know if you live near the seaside, but that sounds like that might be a really grounding and nourishing thing for you, just to spend time near the ocean. That feels like a really enlivening, nourishing place for your own authentic self. Zarita says, very beautiful. Thank you. A big birthday coming up next week. Perfect timing. A 3-year-old. Oh, thank you for the donation, Zarita. And blessings on the 3-year-old to make you more complete in your big birthday. The older we get, the younger we must become. And Beth traveled to the Alpine Meadows with a 9-year-old that was joyous and free. 9 is a very powerful age. I work a lot. I had a lot of trauma at 9, and reconnecting with that really perceptive and sensitive part of myself has been central to the development of my own intuition, actually. Angela had difficulty staying. And so thank you for the donation, Sia. And so Angela, this is a living, growing relationship. So there's no right or wrong. And just noticing that difficulty, and you might, I mean, it's up to you if you want to share it, but I would be curious about what felt difficult for you. It's not uncommon that we have separated from these parts of ourselves. I know for myself, I rejected a lot of what I now consider to be good about me completely. It was not accepted in my family at all to be intuitive or to be spiritual. They were highly intellectual, and even, I mean, thank God they were all dead, because they would die and roll over in their graves if they knew the work that I do now. So coming to accept the things that were actually good about me took a lot of development to move outside, for me, of even the culture that I had absorbed within myself, to be open. So Angela, so that's not uncommon either, to block our childhood. And so sometimes the golden child can be connected or even covered up with trauma and other things that feel painful. And so if you're interested, or if the timing works, Angela, you might want to come to the Transforming Trauma workshop. I do it on a pretty regular basis, usually at least once a month. And that might be helpful if you feel like this work speaks to you. It's a similar process, but we're working directly with the aspects of ourselves that experienced trauma that most need to be healed and brought out of the traumatic experience and into present time, and into the care and quality of our life today. Right. So that's my sense, Angela, right? There was a lot of trauma, and so there's different orders of operations of how these things happen. But one thing that I know is that when we become willing to do inner work and care for ourselves, all the aspects of ourselves, or our own authentic self, is aware of that. And sometimes we have broken trust within ourselves, and just by continuing to do our own personal growth work, to continue to show up and to do our best, we don't have to be perfect, we develop inner trust within ourselves. And then as we create a trustworthy environment within ourselves, then these parts of ourselves feel safe to reveal themselves. I don't know if that makes sense, but there's an order of operations, and you can trust it, and it's different for each person. So Jess says this was not easy for her. The visualizations didn't cooperate with their expectations and what should happen. The peaceful higher self wanted to rest, and the inner child was very sad. The golden child was mostly a whisper and a soft wind. Lots of blocking that was discovered. Okay, so this is really, thank you for sharing that, Jess. It's fine, typos. It's really that's why I suggest to be open and curious, because we have expectations of how we think things should be, and everybody has their own unique internal configuration, right? And so some of the work is to practice just being present and open to what is that might be different with our idealized expectations. And again, that in itself is kind of a growing skill set, to just be present with what is in a compassionate way and not need things to be the way that we think they should be, which may not be authentic. So go gentle with yourself and know that that's not unusual, to have our pre-expectations not meet with what really is. And that's some of the work, is to actually be really present with ourselves, with what is, and to let go of those expectations so that we can trust that the authenticity of who we are is going to reveal itself, and the healing that needs to happen can happen as well. So I hope that makes sense. This isn't always easy, but it's definitely valuable and worthwhile, as many things that are not easy are, right? And so just like many deep relationships, even with other people in our life, it's showing up and being willing to show up over time and growing in our ability to be compassionate and present and loving and kind and honest as much as anything else. That's how we build healthy relationships with ourselves. Yeah. Yes. So just growing in compassion. And really what I hear, Jess, is being compassionate even to the part of yourself that has those expectations, right? And just noticing that you have expectations of yourself that may not correlate with what's true. And usually the gap between our expectations and what's true is a gap of suffering. And when we can make room for what's true and just be able to be present with our felt experience, that is the growth place of really healthy self-compassion and genuine love. And we're all growing in that. As humans, nobody's perfect at that. Trust me. Very imperfect at that, right? So good for you for showing up and sticking with it. You get 5 stars for that, because it's the hardest thing to do when it's hard. And that's often where the most growth is. So kudos to Jess for doing the difficult thing today. So be kind to yourself. And any other questions or comments? Thanks so much for sharing. I think it's really beneficial for other people. You're very welcome, Jess. When we share our experience, because there's a range of experience, but we're all humans, and there's usually somebody matching up with somebody else. You're welcome, Angela. So if you want to follow me, you'll get notifications of the future events I do. Like I said, I'm usually on Insight Timer almost every week. I'll be putting up, I got to think about what I'm going to do in the beginning of March that I haven't done in a while. Any suggestions or requests for a piece of work that people want to do? I'm happy to do that. I'm finishing up. Thanks, Sia. It's great to have you. I'm finishing up my 10-part course on healing trauma that you'll be able to do on your own. That's right. Jess says, thank you all for being here tonight. This is how we change the world. We change the world by changing ourselves, because the world is an expression of our collective consciousness. And I think the best thing we can do to improve the pool is to improve our own consciousness. And I love Insight Timer for that. The quality of the people and the meditators here is really outstanding. I value this community a lot. So, anything else? Couple workshops coming up. You can see, again, Finding the Golden Child, Transforming Trauma, Healing Anxiety. thanks so much for all of your sharing. And I encourage you, if I can give you all homework, I encourage you to check in with this part of yourself. Develop awareness of the golden child. It's an interesting thing, I have many teachers and therapists still, and someone suggested that I draw or write with my non-dominant hand. So I'm right-handed, so I wrote with my left hand, and to let the golden child express themselves through that non-dominant hand. And a whole bunch of artwork came out. It was really interesting. So this is often an underexpressed part of ourselves, so that's one way to play with it. You may be able to dialogue with them through journaling, or if there's anything they enjoy doing. So for example, Sia had the child who liked to be at the ocean, and I suggested that Sia might actually want to go to the ocean if this part of yourself that you discovered is playful, or they like to dance or sing or make things or play with numbers. And you may want to experiment with that, because this is a part of yourself that may be underdeveloped or undernourished or expressed. And so think about how you can So Jess, awesome. So Jess had the sense that she should write with her left hand. So I would definitely do that. Okay, so when you hear something twice, then you're supposed to do that. And feel free to DM me if you want to let me know what's happening with your inner process. I'm here to support you as a teacher and a guide. And you're very welcome, Angela. So, thank you so much. Any final questions or comments? We can bring this forward to expand our own resources and, again, become more whole and empowered and expressing our authentic self in the world. I think that is our work here as humans, growing in the skills and abilities to do that. And it's not always easy. So I honor you for being here, for the depth of your honesty and sharing. And we will end with my favorite Buddhist blessing. May we be at peace. May our hearts remain open. May we awaken to the light of our own true nature. May we be healed and a source of healing to all others. Blessings on your path until we meet again.